Oh, I see. Well, which is another question about just how, I mean, in this country, it seems like it cuts across so many different lines. How to be better consumers. Since we've decided that we're going to be consumers, we're going to have to figure out how to like try to make that a more powerful position somehow. And I don't really know how to start doing that.
Here, Harlem Rice State is so weak that you can't get internal affairs as they hear it.
Uh-huh.
Why is the Lulu consumers here are willing to watch Lady Mercy for 3 or 4 weeks and spend their money on it? It makes me wonder what is this fascination
Well,
with that type of film?
well, maybe we should write Eddie Murphy, actually. I think that he should be called on some of his stuff, actually. I think that Mr. Murphy is kind of a complicated figure and one who could be critiqued in a lot of different ways. There are a lot of different stereotypes that he has, actually. A lot of stuff he puts out there. So, yeah.
I just wanted to ask you, is Do the Right Thing going to be on any longer than Today at 4 o'clock?
It's going to be on every.
Is it on video? Yeah.
It's on video as of this month, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
We have time for probably 1 or 2 more questions, and then we'll have to finish.
Alan?
This is a very broad question, and I get
It's a hard question?
a broad question, and I get
Oh.
people aiming this at Neil, and I'm curious to see. Do you think films get made, the films that actually get made, or what is reflecting society and what do you think is living around? Which do you think it's movies that really harness culture, or do you think the culture is asking for certain kinds of films to be made?
Oh, I tend to think that the culture is asking for a lot of movies to be made, many of which don't get made. And the ones that, I mean, I think that I would sort of err to the side of thinking that movies sort of I mean, the movies that get made are the ones that don't push us too far. Though we might want to be pushed far. I think there's no idea what we're, I always like that idea that networks are, you know, because I can talk about it with television much more clearly. It's just like, oh, well, they, you know, they don't want that kind of program. It's like, we take any kind of program and shove down our throats. So why don't you give us something better? And I think that it's probably the same with motion pictures. I actually think that they could be more, they could influence us more, but actually what they do is basically maintain sort of what we pretend to think is society. So we sort of misunderstand what they are, first of all, which is that, oh, isn't this a representative of what society is? And aren't they just giving us back, or, you know, they're just feeding us back ourselves. But that's not true, I don't think. I think it's kind of a hoax. Because we
It seems
usually,
like there are films that begin to say something that pushes us a little beyond the edge of independent films that don't get distributed out there.
right, but there's like that, I mean, there are sort of some weird things going on where they're like independent, I mean, just because I think everyone's so greedy, that there are a lot of independent filmmakers that are really trying to get a little broader audience, and they're sort of, and they're sort of mass, or sort of, I don't know what they would be, sort of middleman between like sort of big made, you know, features and then independents. Those people are really trying to use independent techniques. I think what I'm noticing is that sometimes people put into their film stuff that you would only see in independent films, and that those sort of strategies are really helpful in a lot of ways. Because a little bit, I mean, it is about sort of also structuring the way we look at things and the way we understand stories. So since we think of ourselves as like, you know, if this is narrative, that's what we are, then if you're disrupting that narrative, I think that's can only be good. But I think people also have a real desire. I mean, I guess I think that I'm really uncomfortable with the fact that people have a real desire to have their identity established for them via film, sort of, and like go, yes, that is who I am. So in a way, I'm saying I hope that we want more than that, but I also think that people do want to like go, yes. Yeah, so.
I've been in this country for a year, and it still amazes me, and it's very hard for me to understand how blacks and whites are just, there's just this big dividing line. I come from the Caribbean where the black and white society is so integrated, even to the point that in malls we have black Santa Claus, what you were saying about E.T. Superman is black, where people don't care. It's just such a part of society. And I don't know if it has to do with the cultural background, the way both areas were colonized or what, but I just hope that maybe someday it will be the same way over here.
Well, we kind of have a big thing about miscegenation here. I mean, that's part of why. I mean, I think there are all kinds of issues about like colonial culture and like how like, there may be lots, you know, and within families, people with very different skin colored, but there's still lots of things, lots of other stuff that goes on. It's just not so black and white. It's like light and dark, actually. You know, it sort of shifts a little bit. It's more about lightness and darkness than just white and black. But I don't know. I think that it would take a movement to change some of the stuff that goes on between whites and blacks in this country. It's not so